Show me your true colors, girl.
Where are they? What do they do? Well, I dove into it and I tried to figure it out. And you know what? They both work for a firm called Starplex CMS. Now, as I just showed you, they are both multiple felons. I mean, they have more felonies than Capone.
Well, actually, Al Capone ended up with 3 felonies when he went to prison, and Ben Mogan has 1 felony, and Corey Hatrock has 2. So combined, they have the same amount as Al Capone. So you might think you're being clever, but you really aren't, Pav. And this is just going through Corey and Ben's history, and you can see that, again, only 3 felonies total.
Yet he works as a security officer at Starplex, and she works crowd control at Starplex. Now, what do those positions really entail? Security and crowd control at Starplex. Uniformed security guard is basically a security specialist, and they work with local law enforcement, and they're certified by the state. Man, that sounds like a real security position. How in the heck is a multiple felon getting a real security position?
Well, it's really not that big of a security position. These are the people that do parking enforcement. They scan tickets at football games. They do alcohol enforcement at concerts. Basically, they're babysitters. And these are the licenses and certifications you have to have. So basically, a driver's license, DOT flagger training, alcohol enforcement training. This isn't like somebody that is going to be walking around carrying a gun, monitoring the safety of a subway system, for example.
Our highly trained staff can handle rushing crowds, rules and regulations enforcement, public safety inspections, alcohol enforcement, front of stage mosh pit techniques, guest evictions, and report writing. That sounds like a full-fledged security guard slash bouncer slash special agent.
Bond. James Bond.
In a way, doesn't it? I mean, my goodness, they're enforcing alcohol guidelines. They do public safety inspections. They're doing guest evictions. I mean, they're writing reports. You need to be a pretty credible person to be able to do this, I would imagine. So how in the heck is a lifelong felon able to obtain a position such as this?
Again, these are not full-fledged security guards. These are just the people that are hired to scan tickets at football games and at concerts, and to provide guest services to help people find their seats, and to do parking enforcement. Like if you've ever been to Watershed at the Gorge, the parking lot is massive. They have to help people get into the parking spaces. Basically, all they do is they stand there with a flag and they point you to where the next open parking space is. They are the security that helps kick people out, that gets too rowdy, etc. It is really not that highly of an involved job. And most of the people that are working this are doing it to get extra money on the side. College kids do these jobs during the summer at the event venues, etc.
They have offices in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and Alaska. They cover all of the same states that all the drug trafficking organizations like to cover. It's weird.
Well, no, because all 50 states are covered by drug trafficking organizations. I think maybe you should pull your head out of your rear and notice that, Pav, except I understand you've got an ulterior motive. You're building up into something about CMS, so let's continue.
Well, I guess my question is, why are they hiring lifelong criminals to be security? Is that part of their policy? Oh, no, wait a minute. No, you can see by applying with Starplex CMS, you do agree to participate in a criminal history verification. Yeah, see, it turns out they do background checks for criminal history to make sure that they don't hire the wrong people. So what has happened here? How did they bypass all of the security measures?
Please don't waste my time.
Yes, Pav, please stop wasting all of our time with these things. I'm kind of surprised that you didn't know how many companies there are that hire felons. This is just a partial list. And CMS doesn't appear on this list, but I know for a fact that CMS does hire felons because I know a couple people that do work for them during the summer, helping with different concerts and sporting events. And yes, they do background checks, but that's to make sure that people aren't getting placed somewhere they shouldn't be. So if somebody has a sexual assault of a minor conviction, they don't want to put them anywhere where there's children. If somebody has theft charges, they don't want to put them in charge of cash handling, etc. But as you can see, doing crowd enforcement for concerts is really a place where it's not a big deal if somebody has a felony conviction. I mean, you're talking about, again, scanning tickets, helping people park their vehicles, etc.
But then I finally found out that they have a secret contract with Washington State. Yeah, you can see it's because it's a job that is set up by law enforcement to assist in the protection and management of their confidential informants. And you can see the quote is, yes, CMS has a policy that confidential informants are not law enforcement officers and cannot perform certain tasks, but confidential informants are not allowed to make arrests, conduct searches and seizures, and carry a weapon. So, now I want you to think about this for a second before I move forward, because it's not saying, felons or people with prior criminal history cannot work as law enforcement officers and perform certain tasks. No, it's saying that CMS has a policy that confidential informants, CIs, they're not law enforcement officers. They can't perform certain tasks for them. Confidential informants are not allowed to make arrests, conduct searches and seizures, or carry a weapon. That's when they're, performing their duties as a security officer for this company. But yes, they have a policy with the Washington State to employ their confidential informants so that they can manage them, keep them working, and keep their eyes on them, and keep them protected because they are a security firm.
No, Pav, you clown. You are incorrect. Okay, ask yourself, folks, why, if there's a contract between CMS and the state of Washington, or if this is listed anywhere on CMS's website, why he just doesn't show you that. Why does he not post a screenshot of the contract or on their webpage where it shows it? Well, that's because it doesn't exist. There is no super secret contract between CMS and the state of Washington to hire confidential informants. And warning label Nina actually helped find where this wording came from. And when I started looking it up more, it appears that it is standard wording for police departments across the country. So let's take a look. Your wording that you used comes from the International Association of Chiefs of Police, from their Confidential Informants Manual. And that same wording is used by law enforcement agencies all across the country. So here is that wording from the manual. And let me just scroll and show you several agencies that use that wording. So you'll see different agencies in Minnesota, and that's actually where warning label Nina tipped me off that she found the wording with agencies in Minnesota. And then I was able to find that Association of Police Chiefs manual. But you'll just scroll down through here. This is all in the confidential informant policy manuals of different law enforcement agencies. Now, CMS is not a law enforcement agency. They do not have a confidential informant policy. Also, you claim that this was some super secret contract with Washington. And even if that were somehow true, which it's not, but Corey and Ben have their felonies out of Idaho. So if they're confidential informants like you claim, they're CIs with Idaho law enforcement. So why would they be involved in some super secret contract with CMS in Washington? I mean, use your brain. So basically, you've told another fib, but this time you're trying to drag a company into this fib. Not a good look.
I would be remiss if I didn't point out this glaring fact that will slap you right in the face, just like it should. About a month ago, maybe just a little bit more, in fact, it was November 4th, I put out a video because I was curious. Where was the mama and my confidential informant in the case spending their time incarcerated? It listed on there that she would be eligible to be released from her rider at the end of January 2025, be eligible for a full parole in 2026. And I estimated that, she would probably be out at the end of January when that rider was up. Little did I know how much impact that video would have. Now, right here, you'll notice the thumbnail for that video that I'm referring to that I put out. And you'll see the date of it, November 4th. Right there at the bottom is her end date of the rider that she was on. And that was the end of January 2025. And then above that, you'll see her parole date in 2026. So by no means was she to be released before that rider date in January of 2025. But little did I know, by putting out this information and pointing out the minimum security that she was in and all this information, some miraculous events took place. And you'll see down here that she was released from that facility less than 3 days later, 2.5 to 3 months early, directly after I put out that video. One person you're going to see that is glaringly missing from all of the no contact orders is the mama. So if she's not bound by a no contact order and she is out and about, then there is absolutely no reason why somebody can't get a hold of her and get some statements from her, because she's not protected by the no contact order. But you can bet she is protected if they pulled her out of a facility because I made a video.
Okay, first of all, you are seriously cuckoo if you think that your video is why Kara was released early. And secondly, you're still misunderstanding the no contact order. The no contact order is not the gag order, okay? And Kara was never under the gag order anyways. She could always talk to the media or anyone. The no contact order is for Koberger not to contact any of them. This has been explained to you before, but apparently it just goes in one ear and out the other. So, anyways. And that is a recap from Pavland.